All right, well, thanks for coming. I think it's been an incredible year. I'd like to thank you for your support through tough times, good times. It's been great. Really appreciate everyone who's put their hard-earned money into Tesla. I think it's worked out pretty well. This has been a good year, and I think there's many good years to come. I'll go through the sort of the shareholder presentation, I think, fairly quickly, because the sort of real main event here is Battery Day, and really I'm just going through a recap of what's happened over the past year or so. I think starting in terms of our ability to create a factory, huge kudos to the Tesla Shanghai team for being able to go from literally a dirt pile to volume production in 15 months. It's like, damn. Yeah. and I think something that's quite noteworthy here is Tesla is the only foreign manufacturer to have a 100% owned factory in China. So this is often not well understood or not appreciated, but to have the only 100% owned foreign factory in China is really a big deal. It's paying huge dividends here. We really wouldn't have the results that we have had this year without great efforts of the Tesla China team, so I'm super appreciative of that. And we'll see the Shanghai factory continue to scale quite a bit from where it is right now. I think we really could expect that to be, over time, a factory that produces over 1 million vehicles a year. Yeah, cool. Let's see. So we also reached in the past year volume production of the Model Y, and this was the smoothest launch that we've ever had. So I think we're definitely getting better at new vehicle launches and building factories and scaling production. As you've heard me say before, it's the hardest thing is scaling production, especially of a new technology. It's insanely difficult. Making a prototype is relatively easy. If I think of like what is the real achievement of Tesla in sort of car company terms, it's like it wasn't making sort of exciting prototypes. Tesla was really the first company in about a century in the US, the first US company in the US to reach volume production and be sustainably profitable. This has really not happened in 100 years. That's the actual super hard part. And we now have 4 vehicles in volume production, S3, XY. Also, the toughest joke, I think, maybe ever. It was a very difficult joke to make. We also introduced the lowest cost solar in the US. It's only $1.49 a watt. And we really just simplified the whole value chain. So reduced sales and advertising. We got rid of a bunch of unnecessary costs and really are just relying upon the fact that it's just the lowest cost, most efficient solar in the US. Providing both retrofit and the solar glass roof, which I think is a really great product. A hard product to make work, but it will be a major product line in the future. We also got 4 consecutive quarters of GAAP profitability, which was very difficult, and certainly a testament to the hard work of people at Tesla. I mean, to do this in extremely difficult times against a wide range of adverse circumstances was insanely hard, but we got it done. And I think the future is looking like, I think very promising, sort of an annual profitability standpoint. In order to sort of do well financially, you really need economies of scale, and you need ideally the best technology. And I think we've had the best technology for a while, but now we are also achieving economies of scale, and we're also rapidly improving autonomy, which is a massive value add to each car. I think the value of Tesla is going to be like total, just on the vehicle side, total vehicles produced times the value of autonomy. That's a way to think about the future value of Tesla. We also have consistent free cash flow generation. This is really important for growth. A key element here is tightening up the time from when a car is ordered to when it is built and delivered. For a company that's growing rapidly, it's extremely important to tighten the supply chain from when parts arrive, put it into a car very quickly, and deliver the car very quickly to the customer. And if you can do that inside payables timeline, then the faster you grow, the more cash you have. Or conversely, if you're unable to do it within your payables timeline, the faster you grow, the less money you will have, which is obviously bad. So just tightening up and having the parts move very quickly to the factory, put it in a car, get it to a customer, makes a massive difference to cash flow generation. And I mean, that's why it's extremely important to have a factory in each continent. Because if you don't at least have a factory in the continent, it is impossible to achieve this. So having a factory in China that's able to serve China, and then soon many other countries in the region, will be key to us tightening that chain of cash flow. And essentially, the faster we grow, the more cash. This is really important. That's also why it's important to have Giga Berlin complete, because then we'll have a factory in China, a factory in the US, and soon a second factory in the US in Austin, a factory in Europe. And I mean, even if for Giga Texas in Austin, even if we had exactly the same costs as in California, it would still be advantageous to do it there, because it's roughly 2/3 of the way across the US. In terms of delivering cars to the central US and to the East Coast, it's just faster, costs less, fundamentally improves our economics. So I think this is also maybe something that's not fully appreciated of just how important it is to have a factory at least on the continent or reasonably close to where the end customers is, so you can tighten that whole chain. Industry performance, while the rest of industry has gone down, Tesla has gone up. And so I'd like to thank all the customers for taking a chance on Tesla and buying our product, and really hope you're enjoying it. This is really our sales, as Al was saying, really grow by word of mouth. So this is really, I think, a very pure, it's very pure in the sense that it's like growing on the basis of existing owners recommending it to new customers. This is really, I think, a good way to grow. And then in 2019, we had 50% growth, and I think we'll do really pretty well in 2020, probably somewhere between 30 to 40% growth, despite a lot of very difficult circumstances. I mean, there's so many, pandemic, wildfires, it's like a whole bunch of difficult production issues, but thanks to the hard work of the Tesla team and a lot of innovative approaches to overcoming issues, we're able to still see significant growth in one of the most difficult, in fact, I say probably the most difficult year of Tesla's existence. And we also published our extended impact report. At Tesla, we try very hard to do the right thing. If the right thing does not happen, it's just because we maybe made a mistake or weren't aware of it, but we always try to do the right thing as to the best of our ability. And then we publish the extended impact report to show, just a sort of a self-examination of what are we doing right, what are we doing wrong, what can we do better in the future. We're definitely trying to accomplish the most good, and so if we occasionally make a mistake, we work quickly to fix it and do the right thing. It's worth looking at like the average life cycle emissions in the U.S. And just how much better a Tesla is or an electric car than any other than any kind of gasoline car. What we'll talk about in the battery day is also just how much the grids around the world and actually especially in the U.S. are greening. It's actually much faster than I think people realize. The U.S. is moving towards sustainable energy, and so as we move more and more to sustainable energy, then effectively you end up building the solar factories and the car factories themselves with solar. Over time, you'll even mine with sustainable energy, and eventually it will get to an effective emissions of zero. That's where things will end up. We also have safety at the core of our design. The Tesla cars are the safest cars ever designed. We have the lowest probability of injury of any cars ever tested by the U.S. government, and that's just passive safety. When you add active safety into that, it's even better. It's really, if safety is important to you, which obviously it is, the safest car you could drive is a Tesla. I think some people aren't aware of this, but it's really, safety is paramount. It is actually the number one design objective when we build a Tesla is safety. Our factories are also becoming safer, and if you look at the sort of accidents per vehicle, total vehicle made, it's dramatically better than in the past. It's already better than industry average, and we're confident we can get it to the best in the auto industry. Autopilot functionality continues to improve, and you can see it in the safety report that we publish every quarter. It's just getting better and better. The U.S. average for collisions is roughly 2.1 per million miles, and with Autopilot engaged, it's 0.3. I mean, this is a profound difference. Really massive, and this will get even better. We're confident that over time we can get the probability of an accident, especially the probability of injury, to 10 times better than the industry average, like an order of magnitude better. So that's just a lot of lives saved and a lot of injuries avoided. That's a huge priority for us. On the Autopilot front, I think it's kind of hard for people to judge the progress of Autopilot. I'm driving, I as a matter of course, I've always done this. I drive the bleeding edge alpha build of Autopilot, so I sort of have insight into what is going on. Previously, about a couple of years ago, we were kind of stuck in a local maximum, so we were improving, but like the improvements kind of started tailing off and just not getting where they needed to be. I call this sort of getting trapped in a local maximum, and so we had to do a fundamental rewrite of the entire Autopilot software stack and all of the labeling software as well. We're now labeling in 3D video. This is hugely different from previously where we were labeling essentially a bunch of single images from the 8 cameras, and they would be labeled at different times by different people, and some of the labels you literally can't tell what it is you're labeling. It basically made it sort of in some cases impossible to label, and the labels had a lot of errors. Now with our new labeling tools, we label it in video, so we actually label entire video segments, so you get basically a surround video thing to label, and with the surround video and with time. So it's now taking all cameras simultaneously and looking at how the images change over time and labeling that. And then the sophistication of the neural nets in the car and the overall logic in the car has improved dramatically. I think we'll hopefully release a private beta of Autopilot, or the full self-driving version of Autopilot, in I think a month or so. Then people will really understand just the magnitude of the change. It's profound. Anyway, so you'll see it's just like a hell of a step change. But because we had to rewrite everything, labeling software, the entire code base, it took us quite a while. The sort of new I call it like 4D in the sense that it's 3 dimensions plus time. It's just taken us a while to rewrite everything. You'll see what it's like. It's going to be It's amazing. Yeah, it's just it's clearly going to work. You know, Tesla core competencies. We've got engineering, but also manufacturing. I think manufacturing is underappreciated in general. The difficulty of designing the machine that makes the machine is vastly harder than the machine itself. Designing, like making a Model 3 or Model Y or a Cybertruck prototype is really quite trivial compared to designing the factory that makes it. Especially if it's new technology and you want to use new manufacturing methods, it's just at least 10 to 100 times harder to do the factory than the prototype. And that's why you see a lot of companies out there or startups, they'll bring out a prototype, but they just can't get it over the hump for manufacturing, because manufacturing of new technology especially is the hardest thing by far. You know, like basically the prototype is at best 10% of the difficulty and probably closer to 1%. And then software. Tesla is both a hardware and a software company. A huge percentage of our engineers are actually software engineers. You can think of our car as kind of like a laptop on wheels. So software is incredibly important, and so not just in the car, but also in the factory. So the factory software is extremely important. Just software in general. These are fundamental. These are the three critical areas that are needed to make for an awesome company. So we'll soon have 3 new factories, incremental. Well, we have one already on 3 different continents. Shanghai, we're expanding the Shanghai with the second phase. Berlin is making rapid progress. Texas is making even faster progress. So with each factory, what we're trying to do is also improve the manufacturing technology. So, you know, in some cases, like the Model Y made in Berlin might look the same, but it actually is made in a much more efficient way. We'll talk about that later in the battery presentation. Yeah, launched Megapack, 3 megawatt hours all-in-one energy storage solution. So it's been great overall. All right, and I think that's basically it. Right? All right, thank you.